If you enjoy challenging yourself, this is the video for you. Today, we are going to be ranking the hardest characters to learn in My Hero Ultra Rumble versus the easiest characters to learn. Let's hop right into it, starting with All Might. All Might is a fairly simple character at his core. He has some smashes that do damage, and then he, for his special skill, has a jump that lets him reposition. That's about all there really is to All Might. That's not to say that he's bad, but he's just a simple character, and that's good because a lot of people are going to want to play All Might, right? So I feel like the characters that are, mainstream characters, they have made fairly easy to understand and play. And for that reason, I'm going to put All Might kind of as our baseline at easy tier. He is fairly easy to learn and play, and he feels really good to play. He's so much fun. All these characters, let me preface, are absolutely amazing in My Hero Ultra Rumble. Each one feels unique. Each one is so much fun to play. The next character we have is Shigaraki, the counterpart, I would argue, to All Might. I guess that's All for One technically, but he's not in the game yet. So Shigaraki has a line of decay that he can do. He can put decay around him, and he can also decay buildings or hit people with his decay hand. I would say Shigaraki is actually probably a little bit harder than All Might, so I'm going to put him in normal tier. I don't think he's super complicated to learn, and honestly, he's kind of a character who's easy to predict if you know about his moves, like and to avoid his moves, but he can be very strong, so I'm going to put him as normal. I think he requires about the normal amount of time to learn, and you might not be able to hop into a game and use him right away, but more than likely you can. He's just not, his kit is simple, and that's a good thing. That's not a bad thing. The next character we're going to be placing is Toga. Toga is literally, I'm going to put her as insane skill. It takes insane skill to play Toga. The reason being is because if you're playing Toga, you are playing every character in the game, and you have to know how to play every character in the game. So just for that reason, Toga goes in insane skill. Now her kit itself is really good. I don't know that her kit really requires that much skill to use, but the ability of using everyone else's kit does require a bit of skill. Bakugo is an interesting character to place. I think personally, Bakugo is, I would say, a relatively hard character to play. I think he's harder to play than normal. It's hard to learn how to position your grenades. It's hard to sometimes land the AP shot or the sniper shot when you're far away. It's easier when you're up close, I think, but overall, and his Hauser impact, sometimes you have to aim it like directly at characters. It can be difficult to land his Hauser impact. Overall, I don't think he's too complicated. He feels really good to play, and his burst of speed from his special ability that lets him fly around is really awesome and a lot of fun. But I feel like out of all these characters, he is going to take a minute to be able to get a grasp of and make full use of his ability to fly around the map, to do combos, to do the grenades, to do the AP shot, to use everything effectively. It's going to take you a minute to fully learn Bakugo. The next character we have is Cementos. Cementos is a character who has like no movement ability, but he is fun to play. He's probably the most fun to play. He's one of my favorite characters to play, honestly, in the game. In terms of how hard he is to learn to play, I'm gonna give him hard. Now, I almost want to give him normal, but the reason I'm going to give him hard is because of what he does. He creates these giant cement walls, right? And those can be really useful, and they're really good for like bumping people up into certain positions and stuff like that. But the other problem with it is you can mess your teammates up really badly or troll them really badly with this character. So if you don't know how to play him well, you're going to end up screwing your team over. So I'm going to put him in hard tier because you do need to kind of learn your positioning and learn where to use your skills and your abilities as Cementos. It does take a little bit of thought, unless you're like me and you just enjoy the chaos and you throw stuff wherever you want. The next character that we're going to place is Uraraka. Uraraka is a character that I would argue is more difficult to play for sure. I wouldn't say quite very hard, but I'm actually going to put her in hard as well. Positioning, the reason I do this, I say this, is because positioning her anti-gravity field with the rocks can be hard to do, and it's hard to get players caught up in it and use it. Also, using her zero gravity on herself and repositioning herself is a lot of fun, but it's just a matter of knowing when to use it and stuff like that. And then she has her hammer as well. Like she's got a very clunky kit, in my opinion, and it's hard to use her kit cohesively and together, because like her anti-gravity field with the hammer just doesn't make sense because she spins on the ground. It doesn't work together for combos and stuff like that very well. And so for that reason, I am going to put Uraraka in hard because she's hard to use and hard to make one of your best characters. I do think if there's any character that like deserves a buff out of all these characters, it would probably be Uraraka right now, but that's just my opinion. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments. Next we have Compress. Compress is so much fun to play. Literally probably one of the funnest characters to play next to Cementos, just throwing trucks on people and being able to yeet yourself away or pick up a teammate and trap them inside an orb and then yeet yourself and them away or into a fight if you want. He's a lot of fun. I would say it requires a little bit of skill to know when to engage with his ability to go in. His counter is really cool as well, so it takes a little bit of skill to be able to use his counter, but I don't think it's all that complicated, so I think I'm going to put him in normal tier. There might be an argument to be made for hard tier with using his compressibility to reflect attacks and stuff like that, but it's really still not all that complicated. It's fairly simple and straightforward. So for all the compressed mains out there that I kind of did you dirty on the last tier list, you might be mad at me again, but he's not that hard. But that's a good thing though. You don't want him to be that hard because you want people to play him. So that's kind of where I put Compress. Where I put Deku, I'm definitely going to put Deku in easy tier. I think Deku is just able to snipe people. It's ridiculous. He's able to use his Black Whip to get to places that you want to get to reposition. He's one of the characters that is the simplest to play, and it makes sense that they did that because that is your tutorial character. That is the character that probably everybody's going to play when they start coming into the game, so they're going to make that character as simple as possible. So he should definitely be an easy character with a kit that's easy to understand. So that's where we're going to place him. The next character we're going to be placing is Dabi. Dabi, I would say, is hard. I'm going to put him in hard because positioning your traps to actually make use of them can be complicated and confusing to a lot of players. Putting your fire down around you to destroy projectiles and revive your teammates and stuff like that can be something you don't realize that the fire does right away, especially when you're hopping into the game. So it does take a minute to learn how to make full use of Dabi's kit and make him really, really good. So I'm going to put him into hard tier because it does take people a minute to get used to him. Ibra is still one of the most insane characters in the game. I really kind of despise her at times, but I'm going to put her in easy. I think her kit, to understand it, to make use of it, and everything that it does is super, super simple, super easy, and overall she's just really good. And because it's so easy, I think a lot of people are playing her and able to do well with her. Next, we're going to say Kaminari. Kaminari is able to wrap himself in electricity. He's able to use his lightning bolts. I'm going to put him on normal. The reason I'm going to put him on normal is because with his electric fire, it does take a little bit of thought to be able to like chain your lightning together to be able to block other people out and to block them into a fight and stuff like that. So it does take a little bit of thought to chain your lightning together and plan specific attacks and stuff like that. And you also have to not hold your Q for forever, which is the giant AoE, because otherwise then you go dumb and then you're open for attack. So he does require a little bit of skill, a little bit of thought process. So we're going to put him in normal. Next, we have Ida. Ida is a combo master, absolutely insane. In the right hands, can be very, very good. In the wrong hands, can be terrible. And for that reason, we're going to put Ida in very hard. I think Ida is actually insanely like a really hard character to play and play effectively, I should say. But he can be very good at the same time. I might have done him a little bit dirty in the previous tier list with where I put him. I might be moving him up in the future. Let me know in the comments if you guys checked out that previous video if we should be moving him up. I know some people have already said that we should. We'll take a look at that again when we do a tier list again here in a week or two. We'll see. Next, we're going to be placing Yayurozu. Yayurozu is a character that is just... I hate her. I hate her so much. I'm putting her into easy. She's not complicated. She's not complicated at all. I have shield. I run at you with shield. I have sweeping AoE attack. I use it. I have cannon. I put cannon down. Like, it's not... She goes in easy. I don't think she's that... yeah, she's one of those characters. These two characters get to me. They're really good, but really easy to play, and so not much skill there. Sue is a character that she requires an insane amount of skill. If you're not playing her right, then she is just a poke character. If you are playing her correctly, then she can be a lot more than a poke character, and she can do massive amounts of damage. She can be super annoying. She can revive teammates, grab their cards, stuff like that. She can be really, really effective, especially with her camouflage. She can be so good, especially in late game. Let's say both your teammates go down, goes camouflage, grabs their cars, revives them. She can be super good. But making use of her abilities, being able to actually aim your tongue and hit people, which is her main source of damage, can be very hard. And so I'm going to put Sue into the very hard tier. I do think she is quite difficult to play, and I think she deserves to be right there with Ida. And notice the speed characters are up here and very hard, and it makes sense. Speed characters are hard to play, and their kits are built around speed. Next, we have Todoroki. Todoroki is a character who I would argue is also kind of on the same level as Bakugo. I'm going to put him in hard because knowing when to use his ice to get away and when to attack, knowing when to use your flame wall, which is your special ability, and being able to aim your fire from your ranged attack is all fairly difficult. It takes a little bit of getting used to, learning Todoroki's range, learning where he's good, and so we're going to put him into hard tier. It does just take a little bit to learn how to use that character. Next, we have Mountain Lady. Mountain Lady has a dash. She has air punches or whatever you call them. I don't know exactly what they are for her. And then a ground smash when you do your plus ultra and then you just ground smash repeatedly on a team at the last circle. It's absolutely insane. Mountain Lady is easy dubs, easy wins. You transform, you just hit the whole freaking map. So Mountain Lady, I'm going to put her in, we'll go normal. We'll go normal on that one because learning how to transform and use the transformation correctly does require a little bit of skill, but not a ton. So yeah, we're gonna put her in normal. Next, we have Kirishima. Kirishima is so limited on range. He can be a combo master. He has his Unbreakable, which is really good, but this is actually one of the non-speed characters that I'm gonna put into very hard tier. Maybe even insane like skill, I don't know, but he can be actually really difficult to use. And a lot of that's just attributed to his range and what he can do. That's another character that I would say maybe needs a buff, but I would have to play him a little bit more to give you guys my full opinion on him. I've only played him a few times. And then last but not least, we have Kendo. Kendo is a character who I feel like is very good when you're 3 stacking, and then not so great when you're by yourself. So in terms of how hard it is to learn her, I'm going to put normal as well. She's just not, her kit isn't that confusing. She has a shield. She has the smack with her hands. Like, she's fairly straightforward as a character. She has the ability to grab a teammate. It's all pretty straightforward. So yeah, I feel comfortable with putting Kendo in normal in terms of how hard it is to use her. So there's your guys' tier list. Toga is at the top. Does that surprise you? And if you guys enjoyed the video, please go down there, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and leave me some comments. Peace.
Maybach music. Can anybody out there, yeah?